Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to another episode of Daily Reset, right here where your life starts a new chapter with us. But before that, how about we take a short break and then we're going to start our new topic for today and a special guest, so stay tuned. And we're back, dear viewers, after that short break. And today our guest, her name is May Alshawaf, and she is a specialist in learning disabilities and family support. How about we take a small introduction about her and we'll continue our topic. And hello and welcome to the show.
Hi,
Yes.
thank you for having me.
Yes, so tell us a little bit about yourself and your faculty, actually.
My passion started with learning difficulties because I see a lot of parents struggle with that. I have a personal experience with parenting a neurodivergent child, a child with learning difficulties. So I started learning all those things. Then I saw a passion in helping families, and then I decided to go into psychology, family counseling, and life support for families who struggle with parenting neurodivergent kids.
All right, that's actually very interesting. So what exactly is a learning disability and how is it different from other challenges?
A learning disability means there's some kind of dysfunction in how the brain processes information. And when we talk about processing information, we just don't talk about receiving and sending information. It's the way how your brain analyzes the information it takes, and then it gives outcome. The outcome could be your behavior, could be something academic, could be reading, writing. Most kids who have learning difficulties or individuals who have learning difficulties either struggle with reading, writing, math. But some people forget that those challenges also come with social challenges as well. Some people might be doing well academically, but those learning difficulties stop them from learning the social skills that they need to use throughout life.
All right. So it depends also on the process of their environment that's around them,
Yes,
and the
definitely.
people that's around them,
Yes,
and the society, of course.
definitely. When we're dealing with individuals with learning difficulties, we assume the normal, what we do as regular people.
Okay.
But we don't understand that sometimes they need more time to process things.
True.
They understand what we say in a different way. They process feelings, information in their nervous system in a different way also. So their behaviors are way different than the normal that we are supposed to be doing.
So it might not be actually different, it's just the way that they process it is
Definitely.
different and the outcome is almost the same.
Why do we say different? Because the society has labeled some sorts of outcome behaviors as the normal.
Yeah.
So whenever something comes outside of this list, we say it's different.
All right. So what are the most common types of learning disabilities you see in children?
Nowadays, the most common one is ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactive disorder. It's because of the electronic cues, the food we consume, the way our life is so fast these days. Those kids are always on the go. This is the main one. Then there's the challenges that come with reading. That's called dyslexia. Then we have challenges that come with writing. This is called dysgraphia. Then there's math challenges, dyscalculia. And then there's the attention or the learning difficulties in general, where the child struggles with everything related to academics. This is regular learning difficulties.
All right. So people or kids with ADHD, when do they develop it? Do they actually develop it at a very young age, or is it later on?
You can see the signs as early as 2 years old.
Okay.
One of the earliest signs that you can see a child might be struggling later with any kind of difficulty, not just ADHD, speech delay. If your child is speech delayed, it means there might be a possibility for something wrong later on.
Okay.
Another way to assess is start giving your kids orders, 2 things at the same time. Can they bring 1 thing or 2 or 3? The way how kids process information, how they have problem-solving skills shows you that are they going to be functioning well later on in school or not. When we're talking about assessing kids, we should not assess the kids with their peers.
Okay.
Each child is a different case, but we should follow the guidelines of the milestones and the steps that kids should be achieving at certain ages, certain levels.
All right. So how do parents usually discover that their children has a learning disability?
Usually parents only discover learning disabilities after the kids attend school and the school tells them there's something wrong. Some parents are way mature and they're intellectual, they know the signs ahead of time, so they can know early on there's something wrong and they go for proper evaluations.
So what are the signs, if you can give us a quick example?
We said speech delay, and we said inability for regular social interaction.
Okay.
And there's the problem solving skills that is also sometimes could be delayed. Some fine and gross motor skills when it comes to handwriting, holding a pen, ability to tie your shoes, zip and unzip your clothes. These things are some small signs that tells you there's something wrong.
Okay, all right. So how do some families take longer to recognize these signs? So why do they actually take a long time? Is it because they don't have awareness of such things?
It's either they don't have awareness or there's denial. They see the signs, they know something's wrong, but they are not willing to accept that there's something wrong in their child. Or some cases, families, they've seen a child in the family before who had the same signs and turned out okay. They didn't struggle later on in school. So they don't worry. They think everything's going to be fine. But we said each child is a different case.
Of course.
This child might be struggling now and will struggle later on. Your previous child didn't struggle. So following the signs is really important, and it's important to ask professionals. Whenever you see something wrong, there is nothing wrong about asking for help. Let's see a professional. Let's see, is this gonna trouble us later on in life? Because early intervention is crucial. If you start early on, you might avoid catastrophic results later on.
All right, so self-confidence and self-esteem. So how does learning disabilities affect these two things?
Kids who have learning difficulties, they know they're different. They know something is going wrong with them. Even if you treat them as if nothing's wrong, but deep down, they know the differences in their skills between them and their peers.
Okay.
Automatically, their self-esteem, their self-confidence is low. Teachers, the community, people around them, they're always putting them down. You don't know how to do this. You're stupid. You're slow. Why don't you try to be like your brother? They're always hearing negative input about them. This also brings their self-esteem lower. There's also the issue of bullying. There's a lot of bullying going on in schools. It's either bullying from kids to kids or from teachers to kids. And this is very dangerous, because if the child doesn't trust their teacher, they're not going to be able to perform academically.
This is the thing, like when kids basically see other kids progress really fast. So this is the first feeling that they have, like, why am I slow?
Why am I slow? Why is my handwriting different? Why can't I solve
So if there's no
intervene,
if nobody intervenes at that moment and actually sees the child, even if he doesn't speak it out loud, but kind of feels like he put himself away or he shuts himself away, then this is a problem that will progress.
It's on the teacher's responsibilities to let that child feel included, even if they're slow, even if they're behind. You're still part of our classroom. You're still loved. You're still able to do something at your own pace.
Okay, I got you. So how does a learning disability affect, what emotional challenges do parents face when they first learn about their child's condition?
The diagnosis is hard. The moment you hear there's something wrong with your child, whether it's a huge disease or it's just learning difficulties, just hearing bad news about your kids is hard. The way we live in a community that doesn't teach parents how to parent kids with learning difficulties adds to the hardness of the topic. You don't know how to deal with your child. You don't know how to parent your child. Having a child with learning difficulties has its emotional and behavioral struggles that show at home, at school. Sometimes there's school refusal. How do I deal with my child when they're having school refusal and they're standing at the door not willing to go to school? Kids who have learning difficulties sometimes struggle from an anxiety. How do I help my child outcome the stress and anxiousness they feel? Some kids are stubborn, or they have tantrums, or they have anger issues, or they have aggression. How do I parent a child who's struggling? My child is struggling and I'm struggling also as a parent. So there's a lot of emotional challenges, and those parents need support. And I feel that in our community, we lack the support that the parents need.
True. All right, interesting topic. How about we take a quick break and we'll be back?
Sure.
All right, dear viewers, a short break and we'll be right back right after this. And we're back, dear viewers, after that short break, and let's continue our topic about learning disabilities and family support. So we talked about in the previous, before we actually taking the break, is it a problem that parents have the problem of accepting that their child has a problem?
Yes.
And if they hear the news, is it actually one, that, and also the fact that maybe they're lazy of actually just, you know, getting into like, we have to now pay attention and teach and have to focus on them, and our life is basically filled with other work.
Sometimes it's not being lazy, it's part of the acceptance process. You hear the news, you accept it, but there's something in you that you're not willing to take a move. I don't know what to do, or I don't have the courage in me to do something to change the situation. With acceptance comes denial. Okay, outside, I'm telling people I accept having a neurodivergent child or a child with learning difficulties, but deep down, I'm not really accepting. I'm having denial. Why is this happening to me? Why me? Why my child? Why are we struggling? Those sentences are, when we hear them, they're just sentences, but on the nervous level system, it's actually stopping parents from taking steps forward. It's stopping them from having a real connection with their child, from having a normal relationship with their child.
I think some parents are just taking it too far, because especially when their kids are in school and they use that kid as a specimen to other kids. But you also don't know what the other kids are going through.
Yes.
Even if they don't present in front of you, you don't even live in their house. So you should only focus on your child.
Why do parents have those denial issues? Because there's a stigma on learning difficulties.
Yes.
We still live in a community that has stigma on anything different. Learning difficulties, autism, ADHD, whatever diagnosis your child has, you feel like, I can't say it. It's not okay. And it takes a long time to know that this is normal, this is okay. And it needs a lot of maturity from the parents to understand that this doesn't mean something is wrong with you as parents or something is wrong with your child. So if we gradually remove the stigma, if gradually parents start meeting other parents who have kids that are struggling, if people in the school and parents start talking about what's going on with them, what's happening now is every parent is struggling on their own without sharing what's going on with them, either with the school, because schools are not friendly enough to let us speak up and share our feelings.
And also accepting the fact that parenting, as you said, you well put it, it's a maturity kind of step, that it's a learning curve that is ever learning. You don't stop learning. Because when you're done with one stage, 1 year old, 2 years, up until 18, 21, even in college, you still learn how to deal with your child.
Yeah, I always tell parents to think of it this way. If you're now struggling with your child, if you start spreading awareness, if you start making a gentler community for your child, eventually when your child grows up and they outcome those difficulties, you might have a grandchild who's struggling. You might have another sibling who's struggling. Anyone around you could be struggling. When you're spreading awareness, you're helping the community become a gentler community, a more accepting community for the later on generations.
So how do learning disabilities affect the relationship between parents?
We said in the beginning, there's denial. When you have denial of your child's condition, there's going to be a disconnection in the relationship. I love you, but I can't accept you. And every behavior the child does gets to you, like you're agitated, you're nervous, even if they're just breathing, even if they're just walking. You feel there's something tense about having them around. And when the parents think of the child as a case, you're a child with learning difficulties, and my job is to help you study, only study. They're going to struggle with studying. You're not going to see the outcomes you wish you see. They're going to have slow progress, and you feel you're not doing what I want you to do. I'm overtired trying to help you, and you're not getting somewhere, and it makes you frustrated, and your anger comes out on this child. So you see, most parents, if they're not mature enough, the relationship between them and their kids with learning difficulties is all about orders. Do this, do that, study this, go to bed. There's nothing loving, there's no care, there's no passion or compassion or any sort of gentle feelings. It's very rigid because we're only following milestones, progress. We're going to therapy, tuition, and this is our life. There's no room for love inside of this life. And the kids feel it. They see that you're not giving them what they need, and then there's going to be some sort of disconnect.
than basically treating it like a checklist. Human connection is something is very
Parents
important.
forget that they're the role models for their kids with learning difficulties. Part of being a role model, I want that child to learn social emotional intelligence, because most kids with learning difficulties, they lack that. If I model this, if I teach my kids how to be gentle, how to suppress their anger, how to manage life when they're angry and find other resources, how to control their temper, this is going to help them in life. Don't think only about academics, because academics, they come and go. And we've seen people who've succeeded in life without any sort of degrees. So let's not just focus on academics and ruin the human connection between us and our kids.
It works both ways. Like the moment you start doing that human connection between you and your child, you yourself will be even more connected with yourself and become more human and more organic rather than academic.
And sometimes we forget that once this human connection is made, our child is going to do the progress we are hoping for, because they feel they're loved, because they feel they have the confidence they can do it, because they feel they're not judged by their parents.
All right. So in this case, we're always pointing at the parent right now, but what about the whole family? How can I bring the whole family to know what the child needs?
It's an important thing that you said. This is a whole family issue. We're having a child with learning difficulties or any kind of challenge. This is the whole family's problem, because siblings are going to be affected. The daily routine of the life is going to be affected. We have to be honest with our other kids. We've diagnosed your brother or sister with this condition, and it's our job to work as a family to help that individual succeed. Either it's a sister helping her brother with homework, it's a sister babysitting the brother when the mom is not there. We all have our chores in the house, and we want to make sure that child does their share of the work when they see their other siblings working as well. It's imagine your family as a small community. You want this small community to be accepting for this individual and to work together to help that person succeed. Because if the family doesn't work together, if it's only the parents, other kids are going to feel left out.
It's not just that, it's also something that is very natural and human to do these things like chores, as you said, whether babysitting or cleaning the dishes or cleaning the room. All of these are teaching you life basics, things that you need to structure.
A lot of people in therapy tell parents who have kids with learning difficulties, this child needs to learn discipline. They need to do things on their own. So the parents focus on this child. They want him to be on time, they want him to clean his room, they want him to learn certain life skills, while their other kids are not doing anything. So this child feels like, why am I the only one doing this? Why am I the only one who has a schedule? When if the whole family is doing all of this together, nobody's going to feel left out.
It's supposed to be a shared routine. But what about the grandparents, the aunties, the uncles? How do they also get into this?
It takes a load on the parents to help the extended family understand what their child is struggling from, because sometimes the behaviors that comes from this child doesn't only happen at the house, they happen elsewhere. Gatherings, birthday parties, lunches, and you want those other individuals, aunts, uncles, grandparents, to understand why is this child probably misbehaving, why sometimes he's slow in understanding things, why his social, emotion, and intelligence is not working properly. And they have to have compassion, and they should know the right ways of how to deal with this child if he's having a tantrum, for example, or if he's struggling with any sort of skills.
All right. So what role does community awareness play in supporting these families?
Those families definitely need community support. Support groups are very well known for helping parents accept the condition, find resources, find places to help their kids, just share emotions with each other as families. If we spread this gradually, if the circle becomes bigger, we'll see a community that supports, helps, and doesn't put a stigma on families who are struggling. And those families, once they feel supported, they're going to be more able to help their kids and other kids as well.
Exactly. They will thrive in the community and actually be a better model for the community itself, not just inside the house, but also outside.
Yes, definitely.
All right. How about another quick break and we'll be back?
Sure.
All right, dear viewers, another quick break and we'll be right back right after this. And we're back, dear viewers, after that short break, and let's continue our topic for today. So tell us, May, what's one daily reset that can help parents stay patient and positive?
If they have a strict schedule and routine. When we say strict, not strict in a way that is very rigid, but I mean if you have a schedule that tells you what to expect, and if your day is planned ahead of time, and you have time management and organizational skills. It helps parents a lot with dealing with the daily struggles and how to function properly in their day. This is one of the main things I work with families. There's something called the individual family plan. Every family is different. Every family has a different routine, different timings for their jobs. How do we function as a family with a special needs child or a learning difficulty child to maneuver the things we need to do in our life? What comes first? What's a priority? What's not a priority? Who takes the kids to school? Who takes to therapy? Who takes to swimming? Who takes to... If we organize those, we don't call them chores, if we organize these daily tasks as parents, we role model for our kids how to have a proper day without having struggles, without having challenges, without having any sort of delays that adds to our stress. And we should pay attention that kids who have stressed parents, kids who have parents who have busy schedules turn out as very anxious kids. So we want to avoid this.
Yeah, it's true. They turn out, I've actually seen this in one of my families, that their parents are always on schedule, and they're like time managing everything. Their kids in reality become anxious, and sometimes they follow and say the same vocabulary.
It's good to have a routine, it's good to have a schedule, but if your schedule is very busy and has back-to-back things,
anxiety kicks in.
You don't have enough time to do everything you want, so you're always on the go. Sometimes kids even have lunch in the car because they have football practice or swimming after school. And this doesn't give you the feeling of family, lunchtime, sitting together, enjoying our time together, and then doing the things that we want to do. Life on the go nowadays is having a huge impact on kids.
It's very true, like especially living, like for example here in Kuwait City, you're always life is hustle and bustle, but you have to be also on time, traffic you have all on time. It makes you so anxious, but it's a necessity, and we kind of tend to drift away from being humans, as they say, like being organic.
What brought this hustle and bustle in our lives, people started paying more attention to extracurricular activities for their kids. We want our kids to go to swimming, ballet, gymnastics, piano, whatever it is. But then we overdo it. We want our child to do everything all at the same time, and study, and have time for tuition, and have time for Quran, and have time, but there's no time.
There's no time.
In your day, there's no enough time.
The kid will grow up and maybe choose one or two out of the five.
Or might choose none because you've overdone it.
Yeah. So how can parents explain a learning disability to their child in a simple and loving way?
We go with kids as their age grows. When they're young, we say there's some kind of challenges that you're struggling with. We're here to help you. When they grow older, you start explaining more scientific information of how the brain works, how brains process information. Sometimes even if they are teenagers, you can also give them books, research about their condition so that they can read about it. They should know their proper diagnosis. They should read their own evaluations. They should know their own reports so that they don't feel left out. I know there's something wrong in me, but I don't know exactly what is it. I don't know why I'm struggling.
It's kind of like putting them in the circle.
Yes, if they're involved from the beginning, it's like they're part of the team. I know what I'm going through, I know what's happening, and they can feel like I can share with my parents the things that I struggle with. I can share with them what's happening in my brain when I'm at school. If I don't have that open relationship with my parents, they're talking about me in the back without sharing with me. I can't even share with them.
True. So what should families look for when choosing the right school or support program?
When we're talking about school, we want a school that offers inclusion, not inclusion in the sense of putting kids together in a classroom, and that's called inclusion. We want actual community inclusion. We want a classroom that have different levels of kids all together at the same time, without any one of them feeling left out, without any one of them not getting the support they need. This is the best thing that you can do for your child, whether they're normal or struggling. Normal kids also thrive when they're in a classroom who has special needs or learning difficulty kids. They're going to learn compassion. They're going to know how to deal with different types of people. They're going to have some social skills that they don't learn when they're in a regular classroom. This is very important. We should also look at the total environment of the school, administration, how they treat kids who are struggling, what accommodations they have, what are the resources available in the school. Sometimes parents don't want to take their kids to therapy after school. They want to rely entirely on the school and what the school is willing to offer. The main person that you should also look for in that school is the educational psychologist. Kids who are struggling, kids who have learning difficulties should have well-planned educational systems, well-planned, they call it individual educational plan, IEP. So how these kids are struggling in the classroom, what accommodations are we going to give them? Do they deserve extra time when it's a test? Do they deserve less curriculum? Do they deserve less content for their exam? All of this are determined by the educational psychologist. If it's a strong one, if it's a good person, they're going to know how to help your child thrive in school.
You said basically putting different ages in the same class.
Not different ages, different conditions.
Conditions, okay.
Like a class could have a child with ADHD, a child with autism, and a regular child. And they could all be thriving, they could all be doing well in school, but at their own pace.
And in this kind of exercise, when you put different children in the same, what does it benefit the other one? So how can an ADHD basically benefit an autism, and autism benefits
an ADHD child is always hyper and on the go, and they might have sensory issues. An autism child, sometimes they're slower in catching things and they also have sensory issues. Put with them a regular child. This child with ADHD is going to learn some skills from the regular child. The regular child is going to learn how to accommodate their friend who has autism, how to help them when they're having sensory overload, how to help them when they're struggling academically. It's a community. They all learn something from each other. And when they're all learning the same topic, the same concept, but at their own pace, it teaches those kids that academics is not a race. We're all gonna learn,
of course,
but at our own time, at our own pace. And there is nobody judging us who's better than the next one.
All right. So what message do you want every parent of a child with a learning disability to hear today?
First of all, love yourself as a parent. Give yourself grace for whatever you're going through. Be patient with yourself in the beginning. If you're struggling with acceptance, it's fine, take your time. If you're struggling with your child, we know this will pass, and we've seen it pass. Give yourself time to accept what's going on, to accept your child. Love your child the way they are. Don't look for the flaws in your child. Look at their strong points. Look at what they're good at. If it's not,
and let that grow.
If it's not academics, it's fine. Find their passion and help them grow with their passion. And eventually start spreading awareness when it comes to your child's condition or the struggling that you're facing at home. There's nothing wrong with sharing your struggles. It only makes you more human.
All right. Thank you so much for being in our show for today, Daily Reset. We've actually had a very great time, and it's very nice talking to you about this.
Thank you for
and I've
having
learned
me.
a lot actually, and I hope our dear viewers did too.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, dear viewers, we've reached the end of today's episode. I hope you actually enjoyed our time right here, and we hope that you take some advices and actually start applying it to your children and people around you. But until next time, see you soon.